when her niece is found dead along with 3 friends after viewing a supposedly cursed videotape. Reporter Ringu sets out to investigate. This week we watched Ringu, or The Ring.
Hello?
Oh my god. Hi.
It's very drawn out.
Well, this week, do you remember VHS and landlines
I do.
and newspapers?
It was a better time.
This movie has, I guess.
It was a simpler time.
Sure. Well, this movie has all of those things and more.
And more.
This week we watched Ring, or The Ring.
The Ring.
The Japanese version.
Yeah, we did
Original version.
the original version. We did watch the original version of The Ring. Came out in 1998.
That was the year I graduated high school.
Oh, God. You're going to hate me if I say anything.
Shut up.
I think I was 6.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, still young. We were both young.
It was young, yeah. Yeah, we did watch The Ring, 1998. It was directed by Hideo Nakata, starring Nanako Matsushima and Rikiyu Otaka.
Can't read your handwriting.
I can't, and I probably said those names horribly wrong, but here we are. That is actually the main character and then the son in the movie. I was just trying to find the dad, but I couldn't find his name for some reason. But
Interesting.
these are at least 2 main characters in the film. They've probably been in several Japanese things and movies and TV shows. Because I know a lot of... I mean, we do it here, but a lot of other countries tend to use the same actors for a lot of things.
They really do. Especially... Is it an island country thing? Because England does it as well.
Yeah, England does it.
Like
Japan
a lot.
does it. South Korea does it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
South Korea does do that a lot, too.
They're not an island. They're a peninsula.
Yeah, they're a peninsula.
Okay.
So, maybe it's just if you're kind of surrounded by water, it's a thing. I'm just kidding.
Geography.
But yeah, this one, I mean, it had an American remake, of course. Most of these do. But this is actually one where the American remake was pretty good.
I like it.
I like the American remake.
Yeah.
With Naomi Watts.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who directed it, though.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, honestly.
I would love to watch it again.
Yeah. We should do that.
We should.
Yeah.
This one had...
You know what? We're not going to do this podcast. We're just going to watch it.
We're just going to watch the other one. And then we'll compare.
See you next week.
This one did actually have a few... I think whenever I looked it up, it had a few sequels.
Yeah.
But
some interesting ones, too.
I will say, I think the main ones that matter are 1 through 3. I don't know if... I can't remember if Yoichi's grown up in the second one or the third one, but the son does take over the story at some point to become the main character.
Yeah. What's the ghost's name? What is her name?
Sadako.
Sadako. And then, what is the one in The Grudge?
Oh, shoot. The Grudge was, like, the original Grudge?
Yes.
Let me see.
I need to know.
Because...
Look it up.
The American remake one was Samara for The Ring.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I'm trying to remember now.
Well, what I was trying to get at was the most important sequel to this was Sadako versus the Grudge ghost.
I think it's her.
I love that they made a like an Alien versus Predator
I
type
know.
movie with both of the ghosts fighting each other. Hilarious.
Kayako.
Yeah. Kayako versus Sada.
It was, Sadako versus Kayako.
Love it.
They just had to do it. Well, then I was just talking about them doing, like, it was whatever Japanese baseball game was happening, and they had Sadako pitching, and they had Kayako with the bat.
Yeah.
Ready
I've seen that.
as, like, an ad. I don't know if it was an ad for that movie specifically, but I kind of hope so, because that's amazing. Because they were doing all these, like, crazy hand motions before they did the pitch and stuff, because they have all the hair in their face. Amazing. So, yeah, this is... I will say the American one really coined the term, 7 days. You will die in 7 days, which a lot of people say it's you will die in 7 days, when really, when you answer the phone, she just says, 7 days.
Oh, okay.
And in this one, it was just 1 week.
1 week?
And I'm like, does that include weekends, or is it just business?
Oh, I know. Is
it just work days? So I was like, 5 business days, 7 business days? Like, what are we talking? And the...
It's in Japanese.
It's in, obviously. Subtitled in Japanese, obviously.
Which, whenever I watch a foreign language film, sometimes you can't really tell if they're good actors or not. Because you don't know the cadence of their language.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you can't tell sometimes... But I feel like when they're really bad, you can tell.
That's true.
And it's not based off of, like, the cadence of what they're saying. It's like, that person died in front of you and you had no reaction to it. Yeah. And I'm like, is that normal culturally? Or are you just a human and you didn't react to that thing?
But then you have to look at, like a Korean horror movie where they overreact.
Because they overacted a lot. Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether that's cultural or...
Yeah. Which I don't hate.
Or are they bad actors? I don't know.
Well, because I will say the main character in this, she is really good in it.
Oh, no, she was really good. Yeah.
But it's very downplayed.
Yeah.
And I will say I just recently watched that 2001 Japanese movie, Pulse, which is like art house, Japanese horror.
Okay.
And, I mean, the whole message behind it is that technology is making us more lonely.
Oh, okay.
And everything. But, I mean... Everything in that movie is downplayed. Like, I feel like one of the characters just does not react. And I think it might be cultural a little bit maybe, in how they take things in or something, but like, or just like their acting styles.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, like normally most South Korean movies I watch, the acting is big.
Mm-hmm.
And then Japanese seems very understated.
Yeah.
And I think that might be cultural.
Probably.
For the acting, at least. It's not bad.
No.
It's just very like... I guess they're trying to... I don't know if they're trying to be more realistic or if it's just like...
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know Japanese people don't particularly display their emotions a lot in public.
Yeah.
But...
Which, I mean, that could be... So, yeah, I mean, it could
maybe.
Be. Yeah.
I don't know.
The opening of this movie, for those who've seen the American one, I mean, it's pretty close to the American one. Talking about the videotape, they went away and things like that, and then she actually did watch the tape, and then she ends up dying, found in the closet. The American one, of course, plays that shit up, and like the makeup is crazy. I mean, it looks really cool, but the makeup's crazy.
Yeah.
The special effects are really good. In this one, I mean, it eventually shows her later on and what she looked like.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not over the top. They kind of look more still realistic, even though they're dead. Yeah. But it's creepy. Like, it's really creepy the way they look, because it looks more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they pretty much... I think the American one pretty much copied the opening.
Okay.
And then I think they changed some things throughout, and maybe a little bit of the story. But this one really, like, focuses on... like Sadako and her rage situation.
Yeah.
I mean, Samara also had rage in the remake or whatever. But this one really focused on that more.
Well, this one kind of, speaking of like culturally, this one's a bit more rooted in the vengeful ghosts in Japanese culture generally.
100%.
Yeah.
Very vengeful spirit situation. Yeah. Where it's like, somebody killed me, nobody found me. And this videotape is the form my rage is taking to take my revenge out on other people.
Yeah.
Take my dread and rage and vengeance out on other people. Yeah. Which it's a really cool concept, and I know that's kind of a big thing with Japanese horror, especially with demons, is that kind of like rage.
Yeah.
Because The Grudge was the same way, the original, where they die in a rage, and then it's like these spirits coming back to like enact pain on other people for what happened to them.
I never saw The Grudge either version.
Either version?
Yeah, I haven't seen either one.
We gotta watch those.
Yeah.
But it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's really good in the remake. I've never actually seen the original.
Oh, okay.
I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
A Ju-on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very much like abusive father killing the mother and the son.
Okay.
It's like them dying in anger, and then their spirits come back to inflict pain on the other people for what happened to them.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Huh.
So it kind of seemed like a theme throughout. But yeah, I've never seen the original with Kayako. I've always wanted to see how they did it. One of these has, I think, the same director as the original, the American and the
Oh, really?
Japanese one. I think so.
I don't know.
I'd have to look that up.
Don't know.
I love the shot composition in this movie.
It's good. Yeah.
It is beautifully filmed.
Yeah.
Like, the way they set up each shot could be a picture.
It's really beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah. I think it was one of my things that took me away from it being horror was how beautiful.
How beautiful it was filmed.
Because, I mean, it is in Japan, too, which is just beautiful.
It just looks clean as hell.
It's just so clean, orderly, and like the natural world around them. Like when they go out into the country,
Yeah.
to the cabins or whatever. It's just so beautiful.
Well,
it just looks so peaceful. I'm like, oh, I want to go there.
And for those who don't know, like Tokyo is it's actually considered the safest city in the world.
Probably.
Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
They inflict, like, there's like a lot of rules and...
There's a lot of rules, but then also people just, if they find a wallet with money in it, they'll turn it in. They won't take the money. And no one will. There might be a couple of people, but generally speaking, it's just like, it's not something that even comes to people's minds there to like just steal things. I don't know. Although there is a store where you can steal things now. And you just can't make any noise in there.
Oh, like the store is set up purposefully for people to steal?
So it's a store that they set up purposefully that you can go into, and they hook up like a microphone to you, and you can't make any noise.
That's amazing.
You have to get in and out of there taking stuff with no noise.
That's so funny.
And it's you can have it.
It's like they kind of made it like a game show.
It's like an actual
you want to
Japanese
feel
game show in real life. Yeah.
You want to feel the thrill of stealing.
Yeah.
It's like going to an amusement park and then setting up a thing where you can rob people or something. That's so funny.
It's kind of like an outlet for people, I think, which is kind of cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
It really isn't. Yeah.
Like make a game out of it so like people can experience what it's like.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Plus, I mean, could you imagine working there? And it's just like, you're just sitting there, like, watching people hooking up microphones, but then, like, it's just perfectly quiet.
But can you imagine how fun that would be if you were working there and your only job is to see whether or not they make noise, and if they do, you're like, got you! Like,
yeah.
Like, you don't have to worry about money.
Because, they have to, if you make any noise, you just have to leave. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Well, and because it's so, like, clean and, like, the cinematography is like really pretty and like the locations are, I think these type of movies really rely on tone and pacing.
The sound.
And the sound.
The sound was very creepy.
It was, yeah. The music that would randomly come in.
Yeah.
Because most of the movie's like silent.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And then you would have those moments of like big music.
Mm-hmm. Kind of that screeching noise that they do. Yeah.
But yeah, I really think they rely on tone, pacing, and then contrast, because like people still play with shadows in these moments, and the shadows are very like creepy.
There was definitely that one where she saw something in the reflection of the TV, but they don't.
She did see Sadako in the TV.
Do you
can see her arm in her
Oh, okay, because I didn't see anything. That's why I thought like they didn't show you anything. But I was like, that's even better. Actually.
I'm like, was also like Samara is a cool name. Sadako is just way better.
Yeah, it is.
Let's be honest.
It's true.
It's such a. I don't know. I don't know if it like means something or something, but it's just such a cooler sounding name for a demon. Her child is adorable.
Yeah, but it does prove how all kids are creepy in whatever culture they're,
I
whatever country they are in.
It's just so funny because like her kid is so cute, Yoichi, but he's like, but yeah, it's those moments where he's just like standing there,
Where there's like no emotion.
no emotional, like
Yeah.
unemotional face.
Yeah.
Even when she's like shaking him, like, why did you watch
Yeah.
this videotape?
Yeah.
And she's like, because my cousin, because it was
yeah,
sister's kid,
told-
even my cousin told me to do it.
Yeah,
And she's like, it's
yeah.
not really her, but he's like shaking her, and he's still
Yeah.
just no emotion on the face. And I'm like, this is just creepy child behavior. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's adorable, but yeah, he does take over at some point in the sequels and become the main character, but which I still need to see. But yeah, I just think he's so cute,
Yeah.
but the no emotion.
A little creepy. I like how I like watching Japanese kids when they say yes though, when they're just like it just seems like an old person thing
It seems
to
like
do,
it should be
you
like
know?
some old wise man doing
Yeah,
that, and not like a I want to say 4-year-old.
Yeah. I love it.
It's so funny. Also, a movie that really shows the like single mom, independent child. Like that kid is alone for most of this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point she brings him to his grandparents' house, but he is literally alone, walking to school by himself.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
house, she's like, "I'm gonna be
Well,
home late.
Japan.
You're gonna." I was like, "I'll check in tomorrow." Like, it's, yeah, seriously. Well, it's like, how crazy is that to feel safe enough to just like let your 4-year-old just walk to school by himself?
Yeah. I
in-
mean, there's
in the
even
city?
that there is a TV show in Japan where they follow a kid going to like the store and stuff and asking for things, and like it's just supposed to be like cute, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. But you know, they're just walking around like Tokyo, like just by themselves, you know. It's just funny.
It's
I don't know.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised no one gets hit by cars though. It's
Oh
very-
my god. Well, and you know,
there and well, anywhere really that's a big city, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
Never mind. Never mind.
No, but it's true though that like I mean I wouldn't trust my 4-year-old walking around any city in America, to be quite honest.
No. No.
It just really just tells you how safe Japan is considered to be.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like,
They have left-hand driving too.
yeah, I forgot about that for some
Is that
reason.
like an island nation thing? Because there's only because who else does it? I mean,
England.
island nation.
Yeah.
Japan, island nation. I don't know anywhere else that. I'm
Is
sure there
Is
are
it
other
most of
places.
Europe like that?
No,
No?
most of Europe is right side, the same as us.
That's so weird.
Yeah, random, right?
I wonder why they were like left side. Like,
It has something to do with when there were carriages and people carried weapons. It has something to do with that. I can't remember. Like,
so it kind of just adopted over time.
so you can like ride your horse and kill someone at the same time if you're
With
on
with your
this
saber.
side. Yes, because you're using your right hand to.
Oh yeah, so
do
left hand on
things.
the reins, right hand would be the sword. Okay,
Yes. That's. I don't know if that's true, but that's like the.
it sounds like it would.
That
be
is
a
the
thing.
folklore.
That
of
sounds
that.
like it would
yes.
be.
Yes. Okay.
So
But
we
wouldn't they be doing that in Europe too? Sorry.
I just yeah,
I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah, because you would think the French and stuff would be doing the same shit,
Yeah,
right?
maybe they just, well, it is the French, so maybe they just wanted to be contrary.
Oh, they love to contradict.
That's probably right. they were like, oh, the English do that? No. No. I don't care. I fight with my left hand.
So we end up finding out that this is actually the girl who's in the videotape is actually Sadako, which is the
Yeah.
daughter of I think Shizuki. was
I
her name?
can't remember.
But her mother was telepathic,
Yes.
clairvoyant, telepathic,
Mm-hmm.
medium, whatever you want to call it, ESP. And she ended up predicting when a volcano was going to erupt,
Mm-hmm.
and the town thought she was a fraud, and that she was a fake, and she was just like manipulating people. So
Yeah.
they kind of went after her.
But the little girl can kill people with her mind.
Yes, her daughter adopted some of that power though, and in like protection of her mother, ended up killing somebody during that situation. And you see Sadako run, like trying to get out of the room. But yeah, I think what happened was, and I know suicide is another theme through a lot of
Yeah.
Japanese horror movies, but I think it's because like suicide is pretty prevalent in Japan.
They do have a very high suicide rate, despite being very safe.
Yeah. She ends up throwing herself into the volcano that she predicted was going to erupt, is what they said.
How poetic.
I know. But yeah, and then we realize that the main character, Raiko, her ex-husband, who is with her throughout the entire movie, trying to solve it, also has a telepathic gift.
Shinning.
The Shinning, yeah. The Shining. The Shinning.
The Shinning.
The Shinning. And he can, like, bring her into it.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Oh, yeah. Did you get to see that? Was it her grandfather or her father that hits her over the head and shoves her down the well?
I think it's her father.
Yeah.
But I think it's the doctor that takes her.
Yeah.
So yeah, the doctor takes Sadako after that incident happens, and then her mother ends up killing herself.
Yeah.
Committing suicide, and then the doctor is the one. Whenever they get to the well underneath the cabin in the forest where they originally find the videotape.
Yeah.
They put their hand on the top of the well, and he can see that it's the doctor who comes up and clubs her over the head and knocks her down into the well.
Yeah.
When they get into the well, they realize they're seeing pieces of her nails and everything, and she obviously was still alive and tried to get out. She couldn't. Died. And then they find her skeleton.
Yeah.
Which, like...
That was the best scene of the movie, in my opinion.
I loved that one. The best scene for me, other than that one, because it is really good...
Yeah.
Is the classic her coming through the TV. That moment is amazing.
Yeah, it is good.
Especially for this one, the way they film it is so cool.
Yeah.
Because I think for 1998, the special effects of her coming out of the TV looked so cool.
Yeah.
And I know, like, it obviously was in the remake, and they did a really good job with that too, I thought, and how, like, when she moves, she, like, kind of turns into static for a second and stuff. In this one, I wrote it down... Because I know in some movies, like there was a horror movie called Gothica with Halle Berry that had like a similar kind of demon situation. And I think this one, I know one of the ways they get them to look like they're jolting is that they have them do it and then they reverse the footage so that it makes it look like they're jolting. Because you can tell the way she's moving that it's reversed a little bit in the footage.
Oh, to me it looked like she was actually moving that way.
I think part of it...
She looked like have you ever seen No Theater?
Yes.
It's extremely similar.
It is.
In movement.
I
So
think
it's kind of what it reminded me of immediately. It was like No Theater, where they do that very distorted body thing, and it's very jerky and like...
I feel like she actually knew how to do that, and then I feel like they added a little bit of that reverse effect, because you can tell with the way the hair moves that it was kind of reversed in some way.
Okay.
But I think they still had her doing that type of movement, so that even if they did do that, it made it more prominent.
It was creepy. It would be creepy either way.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't reversed, it was very just that body movement. Very...
Well, and it's funny because they still do the whole like, oh, she's laying on the ground, and like kind of moving up, creepy.
Well, yeah, she like drug herself by her rubber fingertips.
Her fingerless nails.
It was just funny because they were fingerless nails, but they were like obviously like rubber because they were like creasing when she was like moving.
And I like even that stuff. I don't know how they did the original Grudge, but even that stuff for this is like, it's still subtle.
Yeah.
When they do the American remake of these movies, and then they kind of try to have the Japanese style demon, they like emphasize the shit out of bones cracking, contortionism, like all that stuff, and it's like I feel like the Japanese versions they do that to an extent, but it's still very like natural movement, not like over the top crazy bone cracking contortionism. Because I know in the American remake, whenever she's coming out of the well, it's like foot over her the head, like cracking, bone cracking, and all this stuff, and which is it's creepy, it's cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got somebody who can do that to do it, but I think I don't know. To me, subtlety is always better.
Yeah, agreed.
And I know just American versions usually have to push it that extra little bit.
Well, sensationalized.
It's shock value.
Shock value.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like it's not always bad. I love the coloring of this one, which is like that kind of drab grayish black.
It was all very beige gray.
Because and that's another thing that those movies back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when I think the remake came out mid 2000s, used to do is everything was blue.
Yes.
Everything
yes.
was blue toned.
Everything
The
blue-toned.
Grudge, The Ring, everything had that blue tone over
Yeah.
it. Which, like, it's not bad, but it's also like, why?
Yeah.
I think they thought it looked creepier for some reason.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. It just makes things look unnatural.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like if you were to stick with the beige, like even just making everything undertoned and
Just natural
unsaturated,
tones, yeah.
the natural like unsaturation.
Yeah.
Because I mean, things probably were a little more colorful while they were filming it. But if you take down the saturation a little bit, it already gives it that creep factor.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to change the color filter on it
No,
on the
you
movie
really
to do
don't.
that. And that was just literally the mid to early to mid 2000s for horror movies in America, even whether they were remakes or not, were just it was so, and a lot of them were remakes. It was so very much into shock value, blood and gore.
Mhm.
It was just that time period for some reason in horror was so just aggressive, I guess.
It was not a golden age.
No, I mean a lot of them, some of them were good.
It was a.
but it was not a golden age of
It was
horror.
a blue-toned.
It was a blue age.
Blue-toned age.
It was horror's blue period.
Yeah. I think that's why I didn't really get into horror for a while, is because most of those movies were just shock to me and I didn't like it.
A lot of them were.
And then I just kind of decided I didn't like horror. You know? I think that's kind of what it was. Partially.
Someone actually, I was talking to somebody about it. I was telling them that we had this podcast, and I think it was someone we used to work with. They were asking if you're, because I told them you were kind of getting shown more horror movies while I'm like the horror movie buff, weenie horror buff.
We didn't
situation.
say that at the beginning.
We did.
Yeah.
That's
oh well.
But they were asking is their opinion of horror movies changing? And I was like, I think so.
Yeah.
But I think it's based on the fact that you're now watching them again, but then also seeing how I talk about them. I don't know if that's actually.
Well, I think I just I think I'm seeing some of them
Yeah.
for their cinematic value, that they're actually good movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Not all of them, but
No, and that's the thing. Like any genre is going to have bad movies.
Exactly.
I just feel like horror is only seen for its bad movies.
It is,
and never actually seen for its.
But see,
its
my
good
thing is
contributions.
I like some of the bad movies
Oh, of course.
because they're bad.
Yeah.
It's just any kind of movie, because
Yeah.
I do like bad movies in general.
I love watching terrible movies.
I love it.
Like-
I just love it.
I just love movies.
Do you know what we need to watch sometime is The Room? Not on here, obviously, because it's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It kind of is how bad it is.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I've only seen clips of that. We need to watch that. Anyway. Also, with
and we're talking
horror-
about The Room, not Room with Brie Larson. We're talking about The Room.
The Room.
Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Yes.
Not to be confused with an Academy Award nominated movie.
No. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. But also with horror too, I think what's funny is like things that are kind of, I don't remember what we were watching, but it was something that was kind of bothering you to watch and Steven to watch, like a couple scenes, like maybe one or two scenes on something,
Oh.
that was making you kind of uncomfortable, you're like, ugh,
Was it Nosferatu?
I don't recall. But like me now,
Oh,
I just watch it. I'm like, huh, like the most gruesome thing, and I'm just like,
There's just there's certain things. I will say there's certain things. Like I bring up Nosferatu because there's the scene where he stabs her in the arm,
yes,
and I just feel like I could feel it for a second.
I get that.
So and then one of the big ones of that was the Black Swan. And there's a part where
yeah.
she's got a hangnail and it starts pulling up her whole finger, and I just felt like I could feel the hangnail ripping off, and it just bugged the shit out of me for some reason.
Oh yeah, there was something else where someone's nails. He took off his nail or something too. That's what it
I
was.
just feel like I could feel it.
It's just funny because I realize my tolerance for watching that stuff is really high.
It's so funny
I
because
never realized.
small stuff like that, I feel like I can feel it. When it's something big, like this saw trap just snapped my neck in half. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But when it's something like that where I feel like I felt something
I get it.
similar to it, I'm like,
yeah,
ugh.
I get it. The body horror thing, which I don't know. It's funny, like in the setting of a movie, it doesn't bother me because I know it's a movie.
Like it's fake.
And I'm more interested in how they did it than and
Oh, see, and that's the thing is, like, I still, like, it makes me cringe, but then I'm also sitting there like, oh, how do they do that, though? Like, did they just, like, have a retractable thing? Did they actually, like, put a prosthetic to stab her in the wrist? Like, I'm still sitting there thinking about it.
Maybe, do I need to be a doctor or something? Because it's just not bothering me.
Take an aptitude.
I know, right? I'm like, it's just not bothering me. Okay.
One of the questions is, are you bothered by this in horror movies? Then you should be a doctor.
Or am I a sociopath?
Well, I hear it's not that hard to be one.
Do you know what bothered me? The only thing that bothered me was them, like, little buckets to empty that well, which would have taken days, honestly. That would have taken days.
Well, and then it's
especially because it's groundwater, and it would have kept coming up anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's also because, like, she just starts, like, skimming the water with her hands, and I'm like, it's not, you can stand in it, so it's not that deep.
Exactly.
So just skim the water. You're looking for a skeleton. I think you know what bones might feel like.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But I mean, it's good that they emptied it out a little bit, but it was taking forever. And, like, I loved it. I liked that scene because it wasn't immediately like when she finds her hair and then like the body comes up and the reason I like that too is because it makes you think like, oh, she's in the well with her.
Yeah,
it's time. Something's happening.
Yeah.
But then she ends up pulling her hair off and it's just a skeleton.
All the skin comes off and it's just a skeleton underneath.
I like
skeleton.
That she didn't instantly scream. That her reaction was to comfort this this person that was killed in a way that she shouldn't have been.
Yeah. I did like that reaction.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was just a nicer reaction. Like, I know it's supposed to be creepy and stuff and whatever, but it felt like more of a heartfelt moment.
It was like a human reaction rather than...
cheesy horror reaction.
Which I liked, for sure.
Or it was like immediate scream.
Yeah.
Now, like, I mean, that's not true for every case. Like, this case, it was like, this girl was killed in a really bad way.
Yeah.
And I feel like she was like, she needs comfort, even though it is a skeleton.
Yeah.
Now, would that work for, Vera Miles finding Mrs. Bates' body in the basement in Psycho? Probably not.
No.
But in this moment, I feel like that reaction is just good storytelling.
Yeah.
To have her do that. It was just sweet. It was a nice moment. I mean, obviously it's gross. Skeleton, it's like skin coming off of the skeleton and everything, but it's still a nice moment.
Yeah.
I do love that scene.
Yeah.
It's just that the TV scene, I always forget that the ex-husband does die. Mm-hmm. And I know in the American one, the guy that ends up with her, I don't know if it's her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend, but he ends up dying too because of Samara. But I love the way they did that. The way they filmed it. She doesn't have any crazy makeup on. It's just she can do that thing with her eye, which is so cool. Get Bill Skarsgård to play her in the remake. I'm just kidding.
Right. This is really tall, lanky.
I feel like he's turning into the new Doug Jones, so I feel like he could do it.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah.
But, yeah, the way they had her come out of the TV is so cool looking. Mm-hmm. And then it's just because she looks more realistic to me is why it's creepier.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, demons that look creepy and are done up with the makeup look creepy. But it's like, this looks like a normal person. It looks like somebody that could be standing in my room at some point.
Coming out of the
TV. It's and I love the walk from the well to the screen in this one. I think they both did it well, but it's just her movements, when she does the shoulder movements and her hand movements and stuff. Yeah. I just feel like the choreography for this one was really cool.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. And how a lot of Japanese demons are choreographed and the way they move is just... It's just cool.
What was the story of the girl in the remake? Do you remember?
Because Naomi Watts, and she still had a kid. I think. No, because I can't remember. I don't think it was her kid. I think it was her nephew.
No, the girl in the well. Like what?
Oh,
what's the story? What's her story?
What's Samara's story in the American remake?
Yeah.
I know she gets pushed down the well still, I think.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the full... I think it might have been...
Because I know
I think it's still her dad that pushes her down the well.
Yeah.
And I know her mom does kill herself, because her mom killing herself is actually on the videotape. So this videotape was very short. It just showed, like, the original mom in the mirror, and then Sadako.
Yeah.
And then it showed, like, those people moving backwards and stuff, and then the word eruption because of the volcano.
Yeah.
So it was very kind of meaningful within the story.
Yeah.
In the American remake, it's like it shows the mom, and it does show Samara in the mirrors.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember it's
but she does not.
video.
Yeah, she does not predict a volcano eruption, and that's the thing. That's the difference. Is I don't know if Samara had telepathic powers. In the Japanese one, she does.
I don't think she did in the remake.
I don't think I think they took that out of the remake.
Yeah.
But you see her throw herself off a cliff into the ocean. The mom.
Yeah.
On the tape.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually on the tape. Because Scary Movie makes fun of it where she falls off of it, but then she landed on a branch. Yeah. She's like, motherfucker. And then, of course, Queen Latifah as the Oracle from The Matrix gets in a fight with her through the TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stupid.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it's still the dad that throws her down the well.
Okay.
And I can't remember why.
I know, I can't remember why either.
That's gonna bug me crap. We're gonna have to watch it.
We have to now.
But I do really like that American remake. The sequel to it is all right, but I do love that Naomi Watts came back for it. It didn't just like stop doing them after the first one. That like she came back for the sequel to The Ring.
Yeah.
And I know there was like some really terrible one called Rings, which I think is a sequel, but
she had psychic powers.
Okay, so she still did have psychic powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richard Morgan effectively killed her by throwing her down the well because of her increasingly disturbing and dangerous psychic powers.
Okay.
Which manifested in a horrifying videotape. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Because that's how she imprints herself on the videotape.
She mentally tormented people and animals around her. I don't remember. It's funny how little I remember from the...
See, but that makes her out to be like, someone losing control of her power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one was like someone who used it to protect her mother.
Yeah.
And then was chastised for it.
Yeah.
It felt more like a witch hunt.
Definitely a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt more like a quote-unquote witch hunt than like the remake one where it was like the dad just...
Yeah.
She's torturing animals and people, so he's just throwing her down the well now.
Yeah, the tone...
It's different.
Changes the tone.
It changes the tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think... Well, and I think in this one, the mom kills herself before she's thrown down the well. Yeah. And I think in the American remake, she kills herself after the dad kills Samara, and she kills herself because of it.
Okay.
I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's switched around a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, because a lot of times when they do those remakes, like, this one's not bad, but a lot of times when they do those remakes, they kind of try to make it more palatable for an American audience.
Yeah, they want it to be like this character that is just pure evil that you want to see, like,
instead of a character that you might feel sympathy for. Exactly.
It's everything is humanized in the Japanese version for the most part.
And based on the story, as it should be.
Yeah.
Because she didn't, deserve to die.
Yeah.
She wasn't really hurting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The dad was just scared of her.
I guess the American version turned it into a monster movie in a way. Like, she's just a monster rather than someone wronged.
She became a monster kind of situation.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you realize in the American one, too, that she's not all that bad. Because I think they do have that moment where she's in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, okay.
And you see her as a normal person still when she's a little girl. And so they kind of have that moment in there of, like, maybe she's still human, but I think they still make her out to be way more evil than the original one did.
Yeah. I think next time we need to watch both. If we watch an original Japanese movie.
I mean, I don't mind watching the remake.
That way we have the frame of reference when we're talking about it instead of going, I don't remember.
Well, we can do that for The Grudge.
Yeah.
Since definitely. You haven't seen both of them.
I have not seen either one.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind watching the American remake of The Ring and doing one on that just so I have the comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the original. I mean, it's a slower paced movie because it came out in the 90s and it is Japanese, so they kind of, it feels like they take more of their time with scenes and the way they cut things. And which I like. I feel like it makes you stay in that moment longer.
It's true. Yeah.
And not constantly anticipate a jump scare.
Yeah.
It makes you just like stay in the tension a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what would you give this one?
I like this. Actually, I really did like it. The more I think about it, after
Yeah.
the fact of watching it. I really like it just as a movie in general.
It's a really well-made movie. Even if you're not scared of it, it's a really well-made movie.
Yeah, it was very well made.
Yeah.
I was not scared at all, but it was a very well
Like,
made
you can
movie.
feel, like, for me, because I've already seen it, and I've seen the American one, like, it's just... It has moments of being really creepy,
Yeah.
but I'm not, like, frightened
No.
fully.
There was some tension. There was certainly, like...
It's the tension anticipation.
At least 2 moments of, like, real anticipation tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would give this... I'm going to give this 4... I'm going to give this 4.5 fingernails. 4.5 Kayako...
Sadako.
Is it Sadako?
It's
Oh,
Sadako.
Kayako's the other one. Sadako fingernails. Yes.
Yeah, I would say 4.5. I'm trying to think of what...
Luxurious heads of black hair
Seriously.
that fall off.
Like, all you think about with her hair in her face is like, yeah, but you know that shit does not break.
Gorgeous hair, though.
Amazing. Yeah, I would say, 4.5 full heads of hair, or 4.5 girls down the well.
yeah. 4.5 VHS tapes.
4.5 VHS tapes. One of them was broken.
Yeah, one of them was broke. One of them they did not rewind.
They did not rewind.
Yeah.
And they had to pay the fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fine was their life. And I'm just kidding.
That's a whole premise for another movie, probably.
It is.
And the fine was your life.
The only thing, the only other thing I could bring up is the
No.
fine. All right, over. I'm just kidding. The way that you get past this is you have to make a copy of the movie and then show it to somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
So that it skips you and goes to that person.
We did skip the ending here.
Yeah.
Um,
So that, like, we know,
which I didn't understand at first.
Yeah.
I had to have it explained to me.
So it's Reiko does not get killed, and the reason she does not get killed, the mom, the reason she doesn't get killed is because she made a copy and showed it to her ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he ends up dying at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The issue is that Yoichi has watched the movie at some point,
Mm-hmm.
which does happen in the American one. He does watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I think they have the same setup where it's you have to make a copy of the movie and show it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I know, or show that person.
Uh-huh.
So I know that at the end of the movie, because it ends with her just driving to her grandparents' house after telling him she's coming.
Yeah.
For Yoichi. That she has the copy of the movie. He's going to show it to him.
See, I don't... Oh, is she going to have him make another copy and show it to her? Is that what's going on?
It's like my
Because
thing
the
is,
logic here doesn't make sense.
my issue is I think I remember watching this and thinking she's actually going to show the copy to her dad.
Oh.
So that it skips Yoichi.
Oh. That makes a lot more sense.
And I remember thinking, that's fucked up.
It's fucked up, but it makes a lot
But
more
it makes sense. But I remember thinking, holy shit, you're going to make your dad watch this and get killed by this man to save your son. Which...
Did they mention that her dad was bad in some way? Or
No, her dad was fine.
Okay.
It was Sadako's dad that was fucked.
Okay.
And then whoever, I think... her mom's original husband, that one that they actually go see,
Yeah,
was also kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But it was Sadako's dad. Her dad, normal, because we see them going fishing and they're like, cute, it's fun, grandpa, whatever. But yeah, I think I remember actually watching the ending, thinking I think she's going to show her dad that tape to save her son.
See, that makes a lot more sense to me now.
Which again, fucked up. But
yeah,
you're trying to save your son, I guess.
Because she didn't go with her, no, her son was staying with
the grandparents. Okay. Because they were gone for days.
Yeah.
And I remember I forgot that she left him with the grandparents, and she calls and she's like, I'll check in tomorrow, and I'm like, is he alone?
I know, right?
I was like, oh no, wait, she left him with the grandparents. But yeah, I think I remember when I first watched this thinking like, oh shit, no, that's fucked. I think she's gonna show the dad.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Either way, he has less time anyway, so why not?
Oh my god. But yeah, very good movie. Highly recommend. I know it's free on Tubi.
It is.
Where we
lots of
watched
commercials,
Lots of commercials
that are really poorly timed.
They really need to time those out better.
Yeah.
But it is available to rent on Apple and...
Apple. Don't use Amazon.
Don't use Amazon.
There's Apple.
There is Apple. People who actually care about diversity in the workplace. And
for the most part.
For the most part.
I don't think they care that much, but they care, you know.
They at least kept their
they keep the pretense up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay strong.
Stay strong out there. This is Chris, your horror weenie. It sounds just wrong. Okay.
And this is Legend, your horror buff.
Saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sayonara.
Please like and subscribe and comment.
Do all those things.
Bye, everybody.